Did you know that apart from the wildebeest migration that happens in Kenya, which is a wonder of the world, there's another great migration that happens in search of greener pastures? People. Continents like North America, Europe, and of late the Gulf have presented themselves as places of unending opportunities. No wonder the high migrations of many in search of jobs and business opportunities. Rarely do we hear of the reverse. Today we feature the story of someone who came from the greener pastures of Australia and hustled their way in Nairobi to establishing a flourishing business. A business that they had no academic or even practical qualifications for. Welcome to Young and Different, episode number 8. My name is Wakaba. And before we jump into today's stories, I want to read a few comments from episode number 7, where we featured a producer by the name Paul Kinyari with an inspiring story. The guy was basically born doing music. So I'll just read a few comments over here. We have Peterson Kimani saying, that challenge. Hadi nasikia tamaa ya Smoky. The Smoky guys should talk to us, bana. We advertising your jobs. Then we have Dixon Maguru saying, Kinyari wa guitar. He should consider a complimentary recording for CM Boys Band. Keep shining, bro. Wow. Lois Mkasanga says, let me just read that. Hapo chakula kweli watu walikuwa kwa majaribu. Navuka ingekuwa ngumu sana. Kamande ingeliwa. Ani mnataka tukule kamande seriously. Next msimta suggest njahi. Then we have Sylvia Nzavela saying, love seeing Kenji. Tunangoja kumuona akiwa featured. Amazing story and the challenge was fire. I'm glad Paul amekula smoky mbili at least. We are Team Coops must lose a challenge on this show. I mean, you guys are really vying for me to lose a challenge. Okay, today probably your dreams may come to pass because you have an amazing challenge at the end of this segment. And by the way, we'd like to hear your suggestions. Which games or challenges do you think we should do with our guests in the coming episodes? Whatever challenges you think we can do, kindly comment them on the comment section and we'll do them. So that those who are vying for me to lose, probably, your dreams will come to pass. In today's story, we feature the founder of Love Artisan. Love Artisan is a Kenyan furniture brand that harnesses the potential of local artisans to make contemporary African furniture. Sara, the founder, came all the way from Australia and is currently living the Kenyan dream.
My name is Sara Reeves. I would describe myself as resilient, resourceful, and enthusiastic. I was born in Melbourne, Australia, and raised in the country, in country Victoria. So I sort of had a country childhood. As a child, when I was very young, I'm the middle child. I'm adaptable, I was quiet, I was smart and studious, I was creative. My childhood aspiration was to be an artist. I had an uncle who was an artist and he inspired me. So now I'm based here in Nairobi, Kenya, and I am the owner of Love Artisan, which is a furniture manufacturer. No such thing as a life that's better than yours, meaning that you're put on this earth for a purpose that only you can fulfill, and don't look at anyone else's life, just appreciate the life that you have been given.
Sara, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you on today's episode of Young and Different. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to have a sneak preview into your story.
Thank you, Evans.
And I know it's a story that will inspire many people out there. So feel free to tell us your story as much as you can, as freely as you can. So first, how are you doing?
Doing pretty well, yeah. Things are going well in our business and we're working hard to get our orders done before the Easter break and taking a good break. So yeah, life's good.
Amazing, amazing. You know, you've been born and raised in a continent that is totally different from Africa. It has a different culture, different way of life. Everything seems to be so different. So as we begin, kindly take us through two things basically. Firstly, when you first realized that you are coming to Kenya, what were you feeling? How were your emotions like? And what expectations did you have? Had you traveled to Africa before?
Yeah, that's a good starting point. So it's interesting because growing up, I never would have thought that I would be a furniture maker in Nairobi. It was never on the cards, so to speak. I first started coming to Kenya in 2007. And I was working in tourism at the time, based in Australia, and I worked for an adventure travel company whereby I designed itineraries for them across Africa. And so I was often passing through Nairobi. I had lived a short stint in Cape Town for a time, so I guess that's where I kind of first got the Africa bug, as they say. But then there was just something drawing me back to Kenya. And I remember it wasn't any logical decision that took me here. It wasn't a job, it wasn't a partner, it wasn't anything really, except that this feeling that I trusted, that I knew the next chapter in my life would be in Nairobi. So I took a whiteboard end of 2011 and I wrote, I'll be living in Nairobi by Christmas of 2011. And then the universe conspires to make that happen. And granted, I moved here in April of 2012, so I was 4 months overdue, but still, like, that's what brought me to Kenya. And even if I look back now, 11 years later, even I think, not what was I thinking, but there was no sort of logical, it was an instinctual thing that I just felt that the next part of my life would be lived here. So.
Wow, for those taking notes, I hope you had that. So you had kind of a vision board, let me call it, where you wrote where you're going.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's quite important.
Like, write your intent and then watch how the pieces move to help you to make it happen. So yeah.
Okay, then you came.
Yes.
How did you pick it up from there?
So when I moved here in 2012, I was working in tourism, which I did for several years. That was my career. Then we had a time around 2013, 2014. We had a lot of volatility in the country and insecurity. So certain events had happened, which made it difficult to be in the tourism sector and to earn a living. So around 2014, I really started hustling in the true Kenyan style. I think it was my first real taste of what it means to be Kenyan. So I started a beekeeping company. I was selling honey in Masai Mara. I was helping run different events. I helped organize Samburu Maralel Camel Derby. I was just trying to do what I needed to do to try and survive, basically. In those couple of years, I moved into a house that didn't have any furniture. And I thought, how hard can it be to make furniture? I had no idea. And and I thought, if Julius Yego can win a gold medal javelin by watching YouTube, how hard can it be to build like pallet furniture? So myself and the Askari, we went to Kikomba and we bought a whole bunch of crates and pallets and started making this furniture for my house, and sort of for outdoor. I used to do these movie nights, so I'd have outdoor furniture. And that's kind of where it started. And then people are asking, can you, I don't know, reupholster my sofa? Can you make me something like this? And it was all happening out of the living room. The business model was totally wrong. I lived in Kileleshwa. I was nowhere near a hardware store. We really didn't know what we were doing, to be honest. I guess you got to start somewhere, though. I still couldn't pay the rent. And my living room looked like a workshop. And I guess I learned my first set of mistakes during that first 9 months, like understanding some of the basics about business. But I eventually closed it down after 9 months because it just wasn't an effective business model. I couldn't make money from what I was doing. So I closed it down. And then another one of these kind of like a divine intervention type thing, or where the universe steps in right at that 11th hour. And I wasn't in a good state. I couldn't pay the rent. And my mom saying, listen, I'm going to bring you back to Australia. I had a work permit due. I couldn't even scrape together, 3,000 shillings, let alone 300,000. And I met somebody, friend of a friend, who asked me about the furniture, and I was trying to push them back because I'd put this thing on hiatus. I didn't know how to make it work, and they kept insisting, and it was annoying me. So anyway, eventually I sort of told them what I had done, and they said, well, there's a World Bank project that is going to be on Gong Road that, needs some assistance, and we sort of talked it through. And long story short, I became the project manager for what is now Workshop Nairobi, which is a 7-year-old furniture company. When I first worked there, it was a training institution for the working community here, just helping with things like different business skills, how to deal with customer issues, how to do pricing correctly, different finishes, different designs, access to the internet, those kinds of things. And then eventually they asked if I could bring in some income generation. So that's when I started designing the small things, lamps, stools, and whatever. And the good thing is like 7 years later, so I finished there after 1 year, but 7 years later, it's still a thriving, successful furniture company. And I mean, I think when it comes to like a World Bank project, for instance, that's about as great a success story as you can hope for. So with my last World Bank check, I walked up and down Gong Road looking for a workshop. I didn't take a day off because I think I thought that I would lose faith in myself and what I had to offer. So, because I'm not a trained furniture maker. But I found a workshop, and as I said, I was so passionate by then about the untapped potential that we have here on Gong Road. So I found a workshop, and that became Love Artisan. That was, we launched in July of 2017, so coming up to 6 years now.
Wow, interesting. But before we get into Love Artisan, I just want to take you back a bit, because I know your first furniture probably set the pace for what you will eventually do. I'd like to know that first item you made. You said it was a bed?
Oh, yeah.
And since you didn't have any background knowledge, where did you get the tools? How did you think I need to do this and this and this?
Yeah, I mean, I think ignorance is bliss sometimes. It pushes you forward into things that you have no idea about. But you're right. The Askari and I said we made furniture together. His name is Evans. And one of the first things we made was a bed for me made out of tomato crates. And I mean, I used that bed for 6 years. So it only just got upgraded last year. So it was very functional. But I do think back sometimes to the furniture that we made, and I wonder how we managed to charge anyone any money for it. But Evans, although I had no experience and really no aptitude for the hands-on part of making furniture, Evans did actually have some skill in that he'd been taught by his uncle as a teenager. Wow. So very grateful for Evans in those early days. And he actually, walked the path with me from day one. So from when we were doing what I used to call the Artisan Collective, that was the first iteration, all the way through Workshop Nairobi and to the founding of Love Artisan, to this very day, we are together. So he is definitely my day one.
Okay, those listening, watching us, Evans is not me. Someone will be thinking true. You're talking about me. So probably we'll bring...
Of course, you'd have to get back to work.
We'll bring Evans somewhere in the video so that they can also get to hear from him. So let's go now to Love Artisan. Why the name Love Artisan?
Also an interesting one. Again, I think sometimes my life is defined by these moments where I just have an idea and I think, oh, okay, that will work. I remember sitting on the sofa trying to think of different names. What is this company about? What does it mean to me? Just trying out different names. And I think I've always had that sort of love of a handmade product and the love that actually goes into a handmade product as well. I think, that can't be denied. When you love what you're doing and it is a handmade thing, even like baking a cake, you can tell when something is baked with love. And I think it merged those two things of the love that I think comes through the furniture, but also that artisanship, which is front and center to what we do and our identity as a company.
Okay, probably you can take us through your product catalog, a few of the things you do here.
Yeah, so we specialize in upholstered accent furniture is what I would say. So if you're thinking of a living space, it would be maybe the two chairs, which add a bit of pop of color or some interest. We don't do sectional sofas or some of those larger furniture items. We collaborate a lot with other furniture makers though. So for instance, Tira Studio, who does dining tables, will do the dining chairs. And that method has worked really, really well for all of us in what I would call the artisan sector, the artisan furniture making sector. So yeah, we focus a lot on upholstered furniture. We use a lot of African textiles, and I think that's a really big part of our identity. So we source textiles from around the continent. A lot of textiles come from West Africa, so Mali, Ghana, Nigeria, Ivory Coast, then the Congo, and of course the kitenge sourced from all around Africa as well. And I think part of what we aim to do is also to showcase traditional and cultural African textiles and fabrics, but now perhaps in a way that you've not seen them before, and in that can be used in like a modern setting for your home. And whether that home be in Nairobi or Mombasa or Germany or Hong Kong, I believe we aim to showcase furniture that can fit anywhere in the world.
Interesting. Do you remember your first sale as Love Artisan? How did you feel? Like you're in this country, you have started a business, no background of furniture, and you actually made a sale in your own business.
Well, I've never been asked that question, and it's bringing up feelings actually, because I can tell you it's. It was on the 9th of July 2017. We had worked so hard to make products, and at that time we didn't know what we were making. We were refurbishing old antiques with some textiles and things. We had a wingback chair that was done in a beautiful bright fabric, and I put all that World Bank money into getting that getting the launch done. So we launched at K1 on a Sunday, and it was kind of do or die actually, and we didn't make enough money to cover the costs, and tears were falling, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do now, because I've put everything into this. And then at the 11th hour, a friend of mine, thank you, Martine, she bought the wingback chair, which just pushed us over the line just to cover the costs. So that was a major moment, actually. It was tough, those early years. It was definitely tough. But what became the identity of the company ended up happening a couple of months later, when I designed a cocktail chair called the Luma cocktail chair, named after the person who does our frames for us. And, it was a bright little funky chair with bright African fabrics. And when we just landed that into the market, and we landed it at a very affordable price, it took off. And it ultimately shaped the identity of what the company would be, which is sort of mid-century accent furniture. So very grateful to that first design, because it took us on the journey that we're still on today.
Your story has a lot of in the 11th hour. Is there something probably you do that you think you can attribute to that?
Well, it's a combination of faith and tenacity and resilience, I guess. There's a very funny, like a meme or an illustration about the journey of entrepreneurship, and it's a picture of a guy riding a lion, and people looking at him saying, wow, look at this guy, he's so brave, and he's riding this lion, and he's unstoppable, and wow, and then the guy on the lion is like, how did I get onto this lion, and how do I get off the lion? So sometimes I think the internal journey of being an entrepreneur is, it's a bit different. It's there is that point of like, you've come so far, you can't stop now. Basically, you've got to find your way through those difficult times, and you've got to keep faith that there will be a way to come through. And I remember in the early years, it was some business advice that I received, and it was so good. And it said that in that journey of entrepreneurship, obstacles are not in your way, they are your way. So there is no shortcut, and you have to go through those obstacles to understand your business and to build the foundation of your business. And it was such a mindset shift, because, when you feel like you can't pay salaries, or all the things that come with running a business, that you feel like are stopping you from getting where you need to be, are actually the things that build you.
Wow. Well, that's beautiful. Obstacles are not in your way.
They are the way.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful one. Wow. I'm already getting inspired. um, let's talk about impact a bit. What are those things you see or the result of your life or the business that you feel, I'm glad I did this. I'm glad I'm in this place and I'm doing this. What are those things you look at and you just feel that fulfillment that money cannot bring?
Yeah. I definitely think the journey that I've taken to now, or run Love Artisan, has purpose and meaning for me. I think it is. I am where I'm supposed to be, and I do feel that. Some of the moments that really give me that fulfillment and gratification is we have such a strong team here. We built a very strong foundation in the early years. Our team culture is great. And then as we onboarded a lot more new people, they've been absorbed into a very good team culture. And so I do have those moments sometimes where I'm sitting here, I'm in the workshop 6 days a week, and you just see people going about their work, but you see it with a smile on their face. People are interacting, the music is on, people are happy, we're doing good furniture, and it's like, okay, yeah, wow. And we're 24 people now, and I think when it comes to impact, you can't underestimate even just giving people stable employment, the benefits and the knock-on benefits of that, what that can do for people. So I'm proud. I'm proud of the team that we've grown. I'm proud of the furniture that we make. And being that we work in the Juakali sector or the informal sector, what we know is that the impact of every shilling that is spent in that sector, whether that is buying foam or whether it's buying lunch or even, buying a pair of shoes after work or a hoodie or something, but we're still supporting a huge ecosystem, and it's really at the grassroots level, and they make a difference. It makes a difference.
So, Sarah, I'm interested to know about your work relation with the people you work with. Do you consider yourself a boss, a leader, a manager?
Oh, interesting. I believe I'm a leader. And a boss, I guess. Maybe Mish is really the manager. We have an operations manager. She's very good with the details.
Okay.
But I am here 6 days a week, and I believe I have a really good relationship with the team. I feel there's a lot of respect. There's a lot of enjoyment in our work. And we work hard, but we also have fun, and there's mutual respect.
I can testify I can actually testify to the fun part. During holidays, Christmas times, when we pass here, we normally see the guys here with Christmas cups, a party going on. Yes. I like what you do. Oh, do you do that intentionally, or why do you do it?
That's a good question. I think yes, intentionally, but it also comes from a place from the heart, like from authenticity. Like we all spend so much time working here every day, all week, and we love what we do, but it's good to just appreciate the workspace that we're in. If you see our workshops full of color, there's music happening. People are genuinely enjoying their jobs, and I think we've created good working conditions. You can see people are happy. They work without supervision. We have lunch every day provided for us.
Wow, you provide lunch?
Yeah, we provide lunch every day. Again, that speaks again to assisting more people in our local community too, that we buy our lunch here locally. But we provide lunch daily.
Oh, so. I love that. So it means you have created an atmosphere where creativity can take place. I believe what you have mentioned, that essence of you're free, there's fun, there's energy, creates an atmosphere where you can actually express yourself artistically.
I think
and this is a very creative space.
It's true, and I think you've tapped into something there as well. When you are a leader, I think the really important part is to get the right people on board with you. Once you have the right people on board with you, you then trust them to do their best work and to be their best self, and they'll bring that out. If you're not being micromanaged and looking over the shoulder at all times, if you have the right people and you trust that they know what they're doing and they can do their best work, you get, then you see companies like this where people are thriving they are enjoying and they are themselves and they're not fearing their boss. Sometimes they might, but mostly they don't. You can ask them.
Okay, we will ask them. What I can also ask is, since you, according to your personal story, you started this journey without a lot of academic background in terms of furniture making, probably textile and everything. So when you're hiring people, do you also consider their academics, or do you also train people for the job?
That's another great question. I think we really do give people opportunity. If we start back to Evans and him being an Askari, we do give a lot of opportunity. Attitude is the one thing that you can't be taught in school. Like you have to have the right attitude. Everything else is teachable. So I think it's a mix of people who do have qualifications in upholstery or woodworking, and then a lot of youth basically that need opportunities, and we're able to provide those opportunities, and it's a good mix. But definitely, like myself, who is not a trained designer, I'm a self-taught designer. Like Evans, who was formerly working in security and is now working in woodworking, there are many of us here that have been given an opportunity to thrive in this business.
So I'm seeing a lot of beautiful chairs. I'm not in this industry, so I'll just maybe generally call them chairs. I may not know the right name for them.
That's okay.
And I love the fabric. I love the designs. How is your design process like? Or how is the beginning to the final product like?
Well, thanks. Firstly, so we only have a few designs. I think we have about 10 designs that we do. But of course, when you're adding different fabrics all the time, you're not creating the same piece over and over. I mean, like a lot of businesses, I'm not a trained designer, so I am a user of furniture. And like a lot of businesses, you find that the design process is driven by functionality and requirements. So again, it seems to come from, first of all, the chairs need to be comfortable. Yes, they can be pretty, but unless you're making a comfortable piece of furniture, you haven't done your job well. So often it'll be, okay, we need like the chair I'm sitting on, our Habibi chair, we need a oversized, comfortable chair. You can curl up and read a book or have a cup of tea. Our most popular chair, and the one that I found the most difficult to design, that took the longest, is our Ladybird chair, which you can see behind us here. And it's used for dining chairs, it's used for office chairs. And the reason it took so long to design is because you have to sit on it for 8 hours, and you have to be comfortable sitting on it for 8 hours. Otherwise, we haven't done our job well. Back in another life, when I was at uni studying psychology, not furniture, I used to be an audio typist for the hospital, and I don't even think that job exists anymore. But I have to sit up straight with good posture and make sure everything was aligned, and I'm grateful for that because I have good posture. But it also informed my ability to be able to design a chair that people could feel comfortable on. And now, to be honest, it's become like over half of what we do here is different versions of the Ladybird design. So I'm very grateful for the day that I designed that, and I'm very grateful that people enjoy it, they find it comfortable, and they continue to purchase it from us.
So Sara, I hope you don't mind taking us a tour of the workshop. We'd like to see what you do here.
Great, you're most welcome.
Okay, so let's see. I can see some fabrics over here.
Okay, so the area of the business that you're in now is our office, as well as where we do all our stitch work, where we keep our fabrics, and where we keep finished products. It's the most dust-free part of the workshop. So basically, here are our fabrics here. And as I had said, we have fabrics from all around the continent. We're never making the same chair twice. And that's testament to all the beautiful textiles that we have available on the continent to work with. And so here we keep our finished products. We don't keep them here for long. We do like to get them out quite quickly. You'll see there's a big order here with the banana leaves that will be going out later today or tomorrow. But this is the area in which we keep our finished products to try and stop any dust or debris. And then of course our sewing machines here, where all the stitch work is done for all of our products. So Jeff, who is our head stitcher, an amazing thing, he stitches every single chair that we make, and we're making upwards of 150 chairs in a month. All of it goes through Jeff's machine, and I find that remarkable that one person is able to just produce so much. We're very grateful to Jeff as our head stitcher. We move into our general upholstery team. So this is taking the frames, adding the foam, preparing them, adding the webbing and all the elements that it takes to make the chair. I think on a ladybird chair, for instance, there's about 8-10 layers that have to occur before the fabric goes on. Then we're going to move out the back to our woodworking team, which is a newer part of the company actually. We started it at the start of this year. Previously we were outsourcing, or rather working with a partner workshop to do our woodworking, but we've brought it in-house. And that's fantastic. It's a part of the business I've wanted to grow for a long time. And so it's working quite well. Well, it's working very well, actually. So you'll see here, we start with the guys currently are working on legs for ladybird chairs. So you'll see it starts with the lathe machine and then the assembly of the legs. And ultimately they will bring those legs out to the front to do the sanding and the finishing before they get placed onto the chairs and they get delivered to their forever homes.
Then I can see a lot of art, like a lot of paintings, a lot of writings. You love art a lot, eh?
Yeah, I do. And I think, we love color here. We don't like to be boring in any way. And I think maybe it goes back to my psychology degree that your environment influences you, definitely. So we want things to be vibrant, colorful. So we engaged some of Nairobi's best graffiti artists to come and paint the outside of our shop. And then our team actually went and painted the inside of the shop. And it was brilliant. I mean, you could call it team building in the Love Artisan way, but it was done on a weekend when the team wasn't here, and what they didn't know was that a lot of them would be featured on the walls and the doors of the shop. So it was a brilliant moment when people came to work at 8:00 the following Monday, just with a crowd of people standing saying, oh, look, that's Jeff, and that's Isaac, and that's Teddy, and that's Sarah. It was a wonderful moment, but it really does help to, first of all, I think it reflects the identity of who we are. We like color, we like fun, we love what we do,
You studied psychology in uni. You came to Kenya through the tourism industry. You are now into furniture.
Exactly.
You are what in Kenya we call the true definition of a hustler.
Truly. I mean, I think that's, as we were talking about obstacles not being in the way, but they are your way. I think that those years of 2014, 2015, where I'm learning beekeeping, I'm up in Samburu doing Maralal Derby and all of these things, I think that was the way that was the path that I ultimately had to take through those challenges. I do sometimes think about that I studied psych, I became a travel agent, I managed a travel agency, I became a product manager for tourism, I owned safari trucks, but that's one of the joys of life, if you allow life to kind of take you, to be led in different directions and to not be just stuck in one thing. Like you, as a documentary maker, as a filmmaker, you're also many other things.
Yeah.
So I think we don't have to limit ourselves to only being an accountant or only being, I don't know, like a removalist or whatever whatever your job might be. We're multifaceted. So who knows what? I don't plan to be anywhere else but here right now. But
that's what I wanted to ask next.
No, okay, I'll tell you. I do know. When I retire, which I don't plan to do anytime soon, I'm going to be a DJ. I even have my DJ name sorted, but I'm going to be a vinyl DJ.
No, we want to hear it.
You're going to call me for those joints, those songs from 85 to 95 hip hop.
Old school,
that's it. Old school.
We want to hear your DJ name.
It's a bit personal. Okay, so my DJ name is called DJ 4'5".
Wow.
Because I'm currently 5'1", but I figure by the time I've retired, I'll have shrunk a bit. So I'll be 4'5", and my signature will be a little stool that I carry around so that I can reach the decks. And so, but we're talking like 20 years from now.
Wow.
Remember the name.
DJ 4'5".
DJ 4'5".
Amazing. Looking forward to that time when we will see you as a DJ. I know one of the things when you travel and you're away from family, there's a possibility of feeling isolated. At times you feel lonely. Do you miss home, or is your family here? And how do you cope with that?
Another interesting question. It's interesting because I've lived here 11 years. So when I refer to home, it's Kenya.
Okay,
actually,
wow.
It's not Australia.
Wow.
But I do miss my family. My family is in Australia. I think if I'm able to get back there once a year, that kind of tops me up. I wasn't able to get back there over Christmas, so I am feeling a little bit like I am in need of some time with my family. But generally speaking, I feel like Kenya is my home. I feel like I contribute more to society here. I have more impact. I live a fuller life here than I feel that I would in Australia. If I had stayed in Australia, I certainly wouldn't be the owner of a furniture company. I can guarantee you that. So it's broadened me. It's, we talk about character development, personal development. It's definitely expanded my development as a human being with joy and despair and all the edges of life. It really does broaden your horizon, and you don't want to take that back once you've lived that.
Majina yangu ni Evans Onsongo. Nafanya kazi na Love Artisan. Mimi ni fundi carpenter. Security ndio ilikuwa kazi yangu wakati tulikutana na Sara akiwa kama mpangaji. Ilikuwa ni wakati alikuwa anataka kutengenezewa kiti. Hapo ndio nilichukua najua fundi karibu mwenye alikuwa anamsaidia. Sasa mimi nikaingia hapo nikamsaidia. Wenye nilimsaidia ndio tulianza kujuana mpaka mahali sasa tumefikia saa hii. Kutoka nianze na yeye sijaona mahali ubaya iko ama ananipeleka vibaya. Ni mtu anapenda wafanyikazi wake, na mimi najivunia sana kufanya kazi na yeye. Juu ni mtu anaelewa na anajua kila kitu yenye anakuambia. Na nakwambia Sara, congratulate sana kwa mahali tumetoka na wewe mpaka mahali tumefika. Nimeona wewe ni mtu wa maana kwangu, na naomba Mungu akuongezee masiku. At least Mungu uendelee kusaidia wengine kama venye umenisaidia. Acha Mungu akubariki na akuongezee masiku.
Naitwa Geoffrey Kenywa. Watu hapa wanapenda kuniita baba. Nafanya kazi at Love Artisan company. So mimi hapa ile kazi nafanyanga sana ni stitching. I'm the only person who stitches all the chairs here. Number 2, mimi ndio upangia watu kazi. Ile kazi kila mtu anafaa kufanya, na pia kuwapea deadline kama kazi inafaa kufanyika haraka inaenda on siku fulani. So I make sure it's done na inafanyika vizuri. The other thing, Love Artisan, since I joined it, have enjoyed. Ni kampuni mzuri, inatupea environment mzuri ya kufanyia kazi, and I love what I do. Sara, she's a very interesting human being. I've been working for so many companies, but tangu nikuje at Love Artisan, have never seen a very friendly boss like Sara. She is so friendly. She is so welcoming. She understands every staff here, and she will just give you free environment to do what you love. She will not interfere with whatever you're doing. She will not supervise you. In her mind, she knows that when you come here, you know what you came to do. She has this human thing in her. I've never seen any other boss in Africa, not even in Kenya, like her. And I love her so much. We really appreciate her for what she does to this company.
So Sara, welcome to our second or maybe third part of this episode. What do you do for fun? Because this is a challenge part, this is a fun part. And we like the challenges to be in accordance to the people our guests in the show.
Okay.
So what do you do for fun?
I like like music, listening to music, dancing, road trips. Can we do that for
We
fun?
should dance, as a challenge.
We're not gonna dance as the challenge.
No, we
Yeah,
can't
I know, I'm
dance.
worried about like, Havana, you'll not get me. There'll be judgment. There'll be that
Okay.
Mzungu.
Oh.
Can she dance?
You will confirm the stereotype where they say like Mzungus don't dance.
Yeah, something like that.
But then you have a local name.
Yes, I do actually. So I was christened the name Wangari from our Shosh. We call her Shosh, our lunch lady, and I think I've had that name for 7 years now.
Okay, so for the purposes of this challenge, we'll call you Wangari.
No problem.
So I think, should we do Swahili challenge?
Allah,
Make us speak Swahili.
no.
Have you learned any Swahili words? I've heard Allah, though Allah can also be Islam.
Hey, that's not fair. But yeah, I know a few words. Yes.
Okay.
I know a few words. I know a bit of Sheng.
Okay.
I mean, that's, That's,
Tell me some Sheng. Let me hear some words in Sheng.
hey.
Maybe they lied to you, Sheng. You never
Possible,
know.
you
never know.
It's possible. Mimi ni rangi ya dhao.
Nice.
Mimi ni Mkenya.
Okay.
Mimi ni fundi kama wewe.
Okay. So Wangari ni rangi ya dhao. Okay. So rangi ya dhao. So the challenge, this is a challenge, as you can see.
Okay.
I know you know the game. By just
Not
looking
so
at it, you can tell the game. Yeah.
hope.
In Kenya, we call it XO.
Okay.
Some places, I think they call it tic-tac-toe
crosses.
or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
So which color do you want? Black or green?
Green.
Green. Okay, so pick the greens. I'll do the blacks. And it's a very simple game. You know the rules already, right?
Yeah.
So we can go ahead and play.
I think so.
But to play, you have to flip the bottle.
Uh-huh.
Hey, you know how to flip it, eh?
Yeah, let me make sure that's tight before I fly things all over.
Okay, so do you want to practice first or we just go?
Just go.
We just go. You're good to
Just
go.
go.
Okay, so as the guest, maybe I'll give you the opportunity to start.
Uh-huh.
So you have to flip it, then
Yeah, or I can.
anyway. I can even move this.
I think
here.
so, right?
Yeah.
I've never played this game.
Okay.
And also, I'm left-handed, but I'm also very uncoordinated.
You know you have already failed, but practice.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
do
okay,
just
okay,
do
okay.
a little
That
tries.
was
Yeah.
Okay. Give me 2 more shots.
Okay, it's okay. Just try. Nice.
Okay.
That was a trial.
Now,
You said I give you 2 more shots. You see what she's doing? And she said, give me 2 more
this thing
shots.
is rigged, man. It's rigged.
Now you want to start or this is a trial?
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
You're going now?
Yes.
Okay, let's go. Nice.
Okay. Some of us have practiced. You're only going to choose a challenge in which... Oh, wait, you have to go again, right?
No. I want to be fair. Because I can just finish it. It has fallen. You see now, I can finish it before you even start. Hi. Woo. Okay, I have to be serious now.
You're a contender.
Thank you. Oh boy. Oh, thank you, Lord. Hii ni ngumu.
You're going to have to, like, cut out the outset.
Yes. Where do I place it?
The pressure is getting worse.
Thank you. You know, if I get it, I'm finished.
I know.
You have seen it, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh boy.
No.
Boy, the pressure is getting worse.
Eh.
And it's game over.
Well
That was a fair challenge.
But-
Was it rigged in any
I've
way?
never done a bottle flip in my life.
But now you have.
Let me try left-handed.
Okay, just try left-handed.
I know I won't be any better though.
Okay, sorry. Right was better.
Right is actually better. No, I'm just basically uncoordinated on all sides. Yeah, let's not stop the torture
You
here.
see now?
I'll practice over Easter.
So thank you so much, Sarah, for.
Thank you too for a very enjoyable interview. Actually.
Wow,
Yeah,
thank you.
enjoyed a lot.
We are glad you enjoyed it. And also, one of my takeaways is what you said, that entrepreneurship, in entrepreneurship, the obstacles, maybe say it again. I don't want
Okay,
to say
yes.
it wrongly. Yeah.
So one of the best lessons I learned was that in entrepreneurship, obstacles are not in your way. They are the way.
They are
They are
the
what you need to go through in order to get where you need to be.
Wow, amazing. So you should take challenges as your stepping stones to where you want to go in life.
But not this type of challenge.
Okay, not these challenges.
This is the obstacle in my way at the moment. I'm going to learn something from this.
Definitely. So, what are your future plans for the workshop? Do you intend to stay here, or how far do you want to go? Yeah. Are you thinking of exporting to many other countries?
Would love to, and yeah, absolutely, would love to. We believe there's a market for it. The challenge has been like finding affordable shipping partners, but we're not going to stop. In fact, one of my greatest dreams is I want people anywhere in the world to say, wow, some really cool, funky furniture comes out of Kenya, and for them to just be so surprised at what is possible for us to do, even here on Gong Road, but just be like, wow, these guys are really, adding something, contributing something amazing to the world of furniture. That's what I want.
So where can people find you?
So they can find us here on Gong Road. If you want to come and visit the workshop, you're most welcome. Otherwise, social media, our Instagram is Love Artisan, our Facebook, Love Artisan Kenya. We have a very active social media presence, so you can find a lot of our work there. And hopefully you can also find our work in various places in Nairobi as we've grown and had a lot of support.
Okay. So when someone wants to place an order, they can do that through social media?
Through social media or our WhatsApp, which is 0790 604 773.
Wow, beautiful. Thank you so much, Sara Wangari.
Thank you so much, Evan,
for honoring our invitation and being on this episode. I've been inspired. Your story is amazing.
Thank you.
And keep sharing it. I know people, when they hear it, to be encouraged to get into entrepreneurship, do different things in life, have that desire to make an impact in the lives of other people. I like what you're doing in the community. And I know, even from the two people who already gave us just testimonials, they're not just the two who have been impacted by her life. I know there are many more who would have even loved to share the impact that Sara has had in their life, the impact that Love Artisan has had in their lives. Even, I wish we had an opportunity to hear from some of your clients, because your stuff is amazing. We'll put some pictures of the chairs at their homes, at their new homes, so that you guys can see how they beautify and enhance the look of the home.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity to tell the story, Evans. It's been wonderful, and it even just inspires me again to hear, another favorite saying of mine is, we didn't come this far to only come this far.
Yes.
So to you, I say thank you, Muno.
Thank you, Muno. Karibu.
And
now you can see why she's called Wangari. Actually, my mom calls her Njeri.
I also take
Jerry Wangari.
Absolutely.
So that was it for episode number 8, Young and Different. Until next time, keep making a difference.
Thank you.
Bye.